Hi, this is Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry and Thanks. Hi, it's Darcy from the Purposeful Pantry and thanks for stopping by my channel today. I have the coolest project happening with 3 of my friends, Lisa from Sutton's Days, Tangi from the Freedom Homestead, and Amanda from the Fundamental Home. Today we're starting the 12 Days of Dehydrating. Each day, one of us will be sharing a dehydrating project with you that is fun, can be centered around Christmas, but can be used all throughout the year. And I'm going to drop links to all of their channels down below so that you can go subscribe to them so that you can catch every one of the videos. So today, I'm going to start out with a cool project that your kids are going to love. And I'm going to share with you my mom's super secret Sleepy Time Christmas Eve hot cocoa. Now, what does this have to do with my project today? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. Okay, so let's get busy getting our dehydrated marshmallows started. What I'm using are these Kraft Jet Puffed Peppermint Marshmallows that I picked up from Target. I tried getting some from Walmart and they turned out to actually be wintergreen flavored, not really peppermint, even though that's what the bag said. So what I'm going to do is I'm pouring these out on a sheet on my dehydrator tray. Then it's going into my dehydrator at 150 for about 4 hours. Or you can do it a little slower and do it at 125 for about 8 to 10. So what I'm doing is about half of a bag, right here, about half of this bag per tray. And what this is giving me is plenty of space to be able to move the marshmallows around so they've got some airflow. All right, let's start loading up our trays. I'm going to be a little bit gentle putting them in because I want to not make them just completely change their spacing, but they're going to a little bit, and I'm okay with that. Now this is going to turn out to be a cool little project to do for your grandkids for Christmas Eve. If you do like we do, we have a very special hot chocolate mix that we use for Christmas Eve bedtime. We watch the Polar Express. Then during it we have Mom's special magical Sleepy Time hot chocolate that helps little boys get to sleep faster and sleep better for their Christmas time or their Christmas Eve night. So this is an additional step in that hot cocoa recipe. I'll show you all that at the end, but we'll get these last trays loaded and get started. All right, we'll pop the lid on. We'll set it to 150, and here we go. Our marshmallows are probably done. I've given them a lot more time than what's needed because our humidity was huge yesterday with the rain. So I gave them a little more time to dry so I can make sure they were completely dry for the project that I have to do today with you. So let me walk you through what's here. I have a tray of Christmas shapes, stars and Christmas trees, but we're going to put these in cereal for spring break. Why do I say that? It's Christmas break, because that way they get homemade Lucky Charms. So I'll do it with probably a box of Cheerios and just throw these in there and they can have fun eating these for snacks during the week. They like to snack on cereal. And then I threw on some extra, oops, they're going to start kicking everything out. Some extra regular white marshmallows, just like this, because I needed some extras for what I'm going to be doing today. I keep losing them. So here you go. And let's get to our peppermint marshmallows. And here we go. Most of the time when you dehydrate products, it actually shrinks. But marshmallows don't that much. You can occasionally have them get really small like this, but they don't shrink up too much. They stay pretty much the same size. What I did find though is sometimes these flavored ones will puff up a little bit. So you've got this little puffy marshmallow. So when you know this is done is when you can crush the marshmallow like that. You have a solid crunch. The other thing to remember about marshmallows is that you must keep them, let them come out and get room temperature before you check them. I didn't do that with these because these have been drying so long that I know they're done. And I tested one right before I turned on the camera. So we want to make sure that we've got that really good, solid crunch, just like that. See? All right, so let's get started on storing these in our next fun project. Okay, now we have 7 trays of dehydrated marshmallows that I'm going to go ahead and store in some jars, because for right now, until I get to the point that I'm going to do the next little project that's coming, I need to go ahead and store them away safely, because marshmallows are horrible about picking up humidity in the air, and they will get gummy and stuff after a while if you don't make sure that you store them correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in jars, and I'm going to make a little bit of a mess, I'm sure. Oh, can you see what I'm doing? Let me see if I can do it this way so you can actually see. All right. Ooh, so one tray is an overfill of a jar. I don't want it quite that full for how we're going to store these. So I'm going to tuck these away. Now, as we do this, somebody's going to ask me, what the heck do you do with dehydrated marshmallows? What's the point? My kids will tell you that they are super fun little treats to eat just by themselves. They are crunchy, and think of the cereal that comes from Lucky Charms. Little crunchy pillows of goodness that are just a fun little sweet treat. You can also use them to put in, make sure that's not a broken jar, it's not, it's just a, you can also use them for things like trail mix. You can use them to put into hot cocoa, just like they are. They become a fun little addition to hot cocoa. And what they will do, oops, I'm going to lose a couple doing this. What they are going to do is they will melt within the hot cocoa, but they get a little gummy until they've completely melted. So what we usually do is go ahead and make sure that we're using a spoon to dunk them. And sure, you can use fresh, but you know, where's the joy in that? Because this is just fun. Okay, so now we need to do some storage. Like I said before, marshmallows don't like humidity. So what we're going to do is make sure that we have taken care of these marshmallows, that they don't get additional humidity into the jars or air. So what I have are 3 lids, clean lids, that I've already written on top what is going to be in these jars, because you never know. You will never remember when some of these things look exactly alike. Between when you cut them up, you dehydrate them, they start to look exactly alike. So I can't tell the difference sometimes between some of the products that I have on the shelf, and if I don't mark it, then I will never know what they were. It'll always be a surprise. What I also have is a food saver vacuum sealer attachment, which allows me to vacuum seal canning jars. I have my food saver. And what you can also use is this little handheld food saver vacuum sealer. I don't have this one charged up enough to use today, so I will use in the iCards above. I'll send you to a video where I do have one of these working so that you can see how it works. But basically, with all of these, you're going to put a lid on top of your jar, make sure it's all clean. Put your attachment on top. If you're going to use the handheld, you make sure that it goes right above the hole, and you turn it on and vacuum seal. But this one is out of power, so it's not going to. But you're going to be able to hear where it starts and when it ends, that pitch change, to know when it's finished. What we're going to use now, because I'm doing so many of these, I just went ahead and pulled out my big one and didn't worry about getting that charged. We're going to put the hose into the lid, the attachment, turn on the machine, and I'm going to hit accessory button for mine. Yours may be a little different. And here we go. So the machine knows when to turn off because it knows how much suction is coming out. And listen to this. You can hear the sound. So we're going to remove the top. We're here. Put our lid on, which is different than canning. We do go ahead and just finger tight our lids onto our jars when we're doing dehydrating. It helps keep everything stable. So let's get through the next two. And before we go any further, can anybody in the comments tell me what I just did wrong? I'd love to see who noticed. So let me show you what I did wrong, just in case you didn't notice and you haven't looked in the comments yet. When you can, and you're working on a jar, you make sure that you take a cloth, a clean cloth or paper towel, dip it in some vinegar, and wipe the rim of your jar. What you're trying to do is make sure you have no hand oils, that you have no food particles, that you have no liquids that can become an impediment for the jar to seal well over time. For dehydrating, it's not quite the same way, and you can go ahead, and you can do that if you choose to. You can go ahead and clean your rim once you put your product in your jar, but then take a dry one and dry that all off. You do not want to have any liquid, any moisture on this while you're dehydrating, because that could in turn get into your dehydrated food, which can cause mold problems down the line. What I should have done a second ago, you might have seen me just make sure that there was no marshmallow dust here on the jar lid. I shouldn't have done that, because what I've done is introduce a little finger oil to it, which in the long run is not going to be a problem for me, because this jar is going to be used really like within the next couple of days for some Christmas gifts. But if I were to store this on the shelf, I wouldn't want any chance for this lid to come on, to not seal properly because I left oil here. What I should have done instead is taken my dry cloth and just dusted off the rim just like that. Alrighty, are you ready to see some magic? There's got to be a better way to use marshmallows, dehydrated marshmallows, than just putting them on top of cereal or pop them in your mouth. And I found the most marvelous way to do this. I'm using a Ninja blender. No, a Nutra Ninja is what this is called. It's just a little smoothie blender, but it works on so many things. It's my favorite thing for doing powders now because it does such a good job. So we're going to fill our canister, not all the way up, because you still have to fit the top in. And it's okay if you smush them around a little bit. All right, so here we go. Give you marshmallow snow. Can you see that? That is the most amazing, awesome, coolest thing to do with dehydrated marshmallows. And how am I going to use this? All right. Here is my mom's super secret sleepy time Christmas Eve hot cocoa. So when my kids were trying to guess what's in it, I told them that I will never tell them until they grow up to be adults and have their own babies. Then they get to have the secret formula. But they can guess all they want. So as my youngest was guessing one day, he gave me the biggest hoot to say, "It's got NyQuil in it, Mom." And I laughed so hard. Okay, but there's no NyQuil involved in this, I promise. So here we go. I'm going to take 2 heaping tablespoons of my homemade hot cocoa mix. I'll link it down below about where you can find that recipe. And I'm talking 2 big, huge scoopfuls. You want this super chocolatey. And here's a secret about doing hot cocoa. Put your hot cocoa mix in the bottom. Put just enough water in. And create a slurry. So I'm going to use a fork like a whisk and whisk this up so that I get a really good, I don't know if you can see that on camera, a really good mix so that you don't get all those clumps that you tend to do when you do a big thing of hot cocoa and you just pour all the water in or all the milk. You can use milk on this too. I'm just using water today. So this is all mixed up. So here are the additions. Bits of chocolate. I happen to use Hershey Kisses. Crushed up peppermint sticks or crushed up peppermint candy. Now we're going to fill up the rest of the cup with your hot water or hot milk, whichever you decide to use. And then the piece de resistance. We need a clean one for that. We are going to take some of our marshmallow powder. That got a little... I'm going to use my finger. Well, I'm not. Just get another spoon. And top it. I think that's plenty. You can then garnish this with a peppermint stick if you'd like. But let me show you up close. There you go. It's so good and it's so yummy. And it's just going to melt into your hot chocolate, making it a little bit pepperminty, a little bit sweet. Look at that. Awesome goodness. So this hot cocoa is chocolatey, it's warm, it's pepperminty with the addition of the peppermint snow on top. But know that you don't have to do just peppermint marshmallows. You can use plain marshmallows or pumpkin spice marshmallows or any flavor that you like. Any of them work. These also make great gifts for friends who love fun food gifts. Kids love these things because they are so fun to munch on. They're fun to put in their cereal. And they're just unique. Nobody gets these. And you can also pair it up with your own hot cocoa gift. I did this with our hot cocoa and then added some of the marshmallows on top. These make great teacher's gifts for Christmas time or even any other time. And be sure to watch Lisa from Sutton's Days, Tangi from Freedom Homestead, and Amanda from the Fundamental Home as they share their 12 Days of Dehydrating projects with you during these next couple of weeks. I've dropped their links below, as well as the link to the hot cocoa recipe. And I hope that you have a Merry, Merry Christmas with your family and Happy Holidays to all of you. Next, I'll be posting a little dehydrating video for you to watch. Thanks for stopping by.